Hello and welcome to Between Sets with Church. Today we are up in the lovely Blue Mountains with Heather Hill. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I got to say, this is absolutely beautiful ambiance to work with. But if I recall, I remember reading somewhere that you used to come up this area as a young child and used to ski up here all the time. And eventually here you are.
Yes. Well, at least for the last, I don't know, since we've had kids too, it's just they wanted to come up all the time and ski, and we wanted to enjoy winter. And what better place to do that than at the ski hills and hiking and so many things to do here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. As I just mentioned, you have, speaking of which, this is absolutely a beautiful area. It must inspire you to some way to have all this in the background. Do you find writing, this influences your writing skills?
I do. I'm a big forest, I guess they call them forest bathers, forest walkers. I love the birds and the water. Georgian Bay is just 5 minutes away. It's just an incredible landscape. It's rugged. And every day I'm driving the kids to school, I look at how different the lake is, and it's just such a backdrop for creativity.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. So growing up, you had some training with the Royal Conservatory and as well in the arts as well.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit more about your background with music and...
Yeah, I think it really started because my mom was an amazing player, and when I was a really little girl, her mom passed away, and as a result of that, she was grieving, using the piano to get through that, and she'd just sit me right under the piano, and I'd listen, and very early she got me involved in some lessons, and I studied with the conservatory from 4 till 18. You do your ARCT at the end, which is the Associate of the Royal Conservatory, which is quite a long program of 6 classical tunes, and then history, harmony, and counterpoint in front of adjudicators, and then you pass or fail, and then you're done with that. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then along the way, I just did a lot of Rotary music festivals and competed around the province.
Do you find, especially with the conservatory side, that it helps with your writing and piano work now?
For sure. It's funny though, I was really afraid to write my own tunes for a long time, and I guess at around 19, I wanted to go to university and not have anything to do with music. And I needed that break because it was so much classical, I couldn't find my own voice. So eventually the songs started coming, and I thought, okay, I'll write a few myself and see how it goes. So it's amazing for understanding chords and the composition of it, and the different voicing, and I love lyrics. I also did a degree in English and poetry, so the words and the story are really important to me as well.
Yeah, and you've pretty well got all the basic foundations then all set.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly. Then there's the muse. You hope it drops in on you. Yeah.
Yeah. The song "I Rise" that we're going to listen to shortly. Can you please tell me a little bit more about the lyrics about that? When I listened to it the first time the other day, I heard, obviously I got the message, which I'll let you relay it, but as we discussed before, I got a positive message that song can really relate to what we've been dealing with in the last couple of years. But I'll let you tell the true story behind the song.
Well, the true story is a quick one. It didn't come from this landscape. It did come from going away from here, and I went somewhere warm, and it was supposed to be sunny, and it wasn't. It was pouring rain, and I looked out my window, and there's this incredible rain catcher, and how the rain was falling was how the rhythm of the song kind of came out. And even though it was raining, this whole beauty of the nature that was there just lifted me, and I was very inspired that even though it's raining, it's still a beautiful life, and it's worth living. So I think it's a song that really relates now, as my mom has recently passed away, and she used to wake me up every day with "Rise and shine," she used to say every day, and I love that because we can rise even when it's raining. We can always find something good.
True.
Even through COVID and the fact we were in isolation, I think there's so much good that came from that. The family time, it could be good or not good. The family time, the time in nature, the quiet time, the creative time.
Yeah.
I think of the those times in my life when all I see are clouds and gray. And I hope there is more for me, a horizon away. And I have the courage that I need when life falls hard like gravity. And I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. It rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise. I look all around me and know that I need you to stay. And I choose to go inside here, what I need to find my way. And I have the courage that I need when life falls hard like gravity. And I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. It rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise, I rise, I rise above. Oh, I rise above. There's a reason for everything. Maybe we need these storms. See the rain wash away all our fear. We don't need anymore.
You've also done, you do have a few albums out. One was a compilation album. Do you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, this I Rise came from an album called We Are the Same. And that song came out of, I do some work with human rights and peace with a group called One Fire in Toronto. And it's really bringing arts to people so that you can bring inspiring messages to help people and raise money for things like Amnesty and War Child and Nellie's Shelter and some shelters. So that We Are the Same became such a really nice container for the rest of the songs, which were written up here about the landscape, mostly acoustic, mostly written by me. And some of the other songs were written in Toronto and it was more about peace prior to the lockdown.
Yeah.
So to speak, yes.
Yeah, it had a beautiful, if I remember correctly, beautiful percussion, bongo rhythm to it, which was really, really nice. It was a really nice piece to add to it. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of compilation, though, was there any specific artists that you recall working with that you enjoy working with?
Yes, on my Ludi Station album, which was an album I did at Humber College in Toronto, that was one of my favorites for working with, like Russ Boswell on bass and Paul DeLong on drums, and Arturo Avalo is that percussionist, South American percussionist. Some of the songs were co-written, like Alex Steinwell was one, and Megan Morrison. I really love to co-write, so that album had a number of co-writes.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you perform, do you prefer by yourself, or do you enjoy doing the whole band thing or compilation, people that you've worked with in the past?
It's easier to play solo because I can just show up on a stage and play. But I do love working with a band whenever I can. It's a whole different experience. And in fact, if I'm playing keys, I sometimes forget what I'm doing because I'm listening to everyone else. So I think You know, in the future, if I do more band work, which I can see, I'll probably just do vocals.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of a gear question. Obviously, you
Yeah.
can't take this beautiful grand piano
No.
with you. What do you use when you do your gigs?
Yeah, I have a Roland keyboard, which I like, and that's heavy and
Yeah,
88
yeah.
keys, so I lug that around. That's primarily what I do, and I always try to find clubs that have keys so I don't have to, or I take a guitarist and I just sing, or I try to keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of gigs, whereabouts have you played? Is there any memorable gigs that you've had, or certain places that really stood out in your mind?
Yeah, I've got a number that I love. Like I love the Hughes Room in Toronto and Say What.
Okay.
I really recently just played at the Heartwood, in Sound, which I think is a fantastic room with great sound. I love popping in on open mics. I particularly love living rooms and coffee shops. So yeah, that's fun for me. And I did a stint where I lived 3 years in New York City, and I created my first album there. And so I played rooms like CBGB's, and I got to play at
good for you.
the McClure Room and the Cutting Room,
Yeah,
which was
yeah, heard
the
of all
Cutting
those,
Room
yeah.
was an incredible experience. And a lot of those rooms have pianos in them, so you don't have to lug your stuff with you. Yeah,
that's always handy, especially something on like that size.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
As I sit at my piano and the night falls on blue mountains, and I look out my window, I see stars fill the canvas. As I live in isolation, I see fear grow between us, and I know this too shall pass away. I look to the sky for hope as always. It's the simple light of Venus casts a gentle stroke of genius when the 5 points she leads us on a journey of soul freeness. As I sit at my piano, I see you're brighter than the others, and I wonder about your rhythm and how you turn the other way. It's the universe is expanding. There's a place for each and every one of the planets and the stars, and the axis spins on longing always. It's the simple light of Venus. It's a gentle stroke of genius. With the 5 points she leads us on a journey of soul freeness. It feels like the sun only comes out once and then it's gone. It feels like a year, but it's one day and it's too long. And your beauty stays for a moment like a song. It's the simple light of Venus, a gentle stroke of genius. With the 5 points she leads us on a journey of soul freeness. As I sit at my piano and the night falls on blue mountains, and I look out my window, the stars fill the canvas.
Another track that really intrigued me was Walking with Angels.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the story behind that one?
Yeah, that was when I was living in the beach area in Toronto, in the midst of raising young children who were sick a lot, spending a lot of time in the night nursing them, and I would find that I'd go down to the Lake Ontario right there and walk along the shore, and I just always felt incredibly comforted, like I had like a team of angels walking with me. And I co-wrote that song with Carl Masha, and he did the piano on that track. Yeah, that's the song.
Do you have, obviously you have a team that works around you. You have some very influential people that help you out, which Eric, I believe I had spoken with as one of them. Do you have you have good family support as well, and do they support what you do? And
I do. Actually, when I toured my second album, Ludi Station, my kids actually came with me across the country and were helping me set up and would listen and pass out in the back. So that was quite special. But yeah, my family's really supportive of my loud piano in the house and
good.
me playing all the time. And I like to have a lot of musicians here. I just love to support other artists and have them in my home. And we like to go listen to live music whenever we can. And yeah, and my husband, well, he's just learned how to play the guitar over, the COVID lockdown. He's gotten really good.
oh, good.
So he's playing with a group of people in the area that have learned the guitar. I learned a new instrument during the lockdown, so I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Did you find with every album that you've done so far, were you looking for new sounds in each one, or did it just kind of naturally just flow, whatever came and whatever was written was presented?
Well, I think my songwriting has really evolved. Like if you listen to my Listen album back in New York City, it had a lot of persuasion from the band members that were playing on it. So Roseanne Cash's band, and it was quite interesting how it ended up with kind of a rootsy, almost country feel. And that was my first album, so I didn't, I wasn't really sure who I was yet. And then as I settled into Ludi Station, it had a little more rock and pop appeal, which I'm very comfortable in that space. I love both rock and pop. And then this third one here, I've gone more into like acoustic, I guess you'd call it a singer-songwriter, maybe adult alternative, inspiring songs. I certainly have my influences. So,
Yeah.
But I like to veer outside. I do like all kind of genres, and that's probably what's challenging in the music industry, because I do drive all over genres, and I listen to many people across all. So, and then the album I have coming up too in May, it's a little more on the world music, very
Okay.
percussive sounding. Yeah.
Did you find it challenging to come up with these different? No, it just flows.
No, I write a lot of songs, so I've probably written at least 1,000 songs at this point over the years, and I just write all the time. Like words come or a tune comes, and sometimes they match, but every day I write.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of material, and maybe for an album I'll write, a good 60 songs, and then boil it down to the ones that everyone sort of says, oh, those are catchy, I like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's my next question. How do you decipher between what you like and what your family may like or other peers? Is your say the last say generally?
I think ultimately, although I do like working with a producer or recording engineer or someone that will listen and say, yeah, that's really catchy, I really like that. And I run a songwriting guild, or co-lead this guild now, and there's about 15 or 20 of us are on this Zoom call each month. It's like a book club for songwriters. Yep. And it's a fantastic place to vet our songs. We're all professional musicians, we're all playing, we're all recording. And that's where a lot of my co-writers come from. And they'll give me great feedback, like, oh no, that's just not working. That's fantastic, whatever it happens to be. They're quite honest, which, I really appreciate. And then when you play them out, you can see how they land.
The response back, yeah.
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah.
Sun's going down over Port Elgin town. Local band plays Ellington in an outdoor pavilion. He looks out the dance floor and he sees her warm smile. Could he have this dance? Or maybe two. He's not smooth, but he's handsome. You never forget that girl. You never forget that girl. That strawberry, strawberry girl. The next day they'd meet at the beach in that heat. Esther Williams would be proud, 'cause she swims out from the crowd. To his disbelief, her cap's a berry and a leaf. She's got a movie star shine in a strawberry beach bag. You'll never forget that girl. You'll never forget that girl. That strawberry, strawberry girl. He returns back home. He's busy, but he feels alone. He waits 3 long months to reach her with a letter, 'cause he's a teacher. Is history, 50 years of mystery, 2 daughters and a son, and 6 grandchildren strong. You'll never forget that girl. You'll never forget that girl. That strawberry, strawberry girl. That strawberry girl. You ask what's the secret? Oh, there's no secret. Just love, God's faith and laughter, and a strawberry beach bag.
What would you think is the biggest challenge that you have at the point that you're at now? Is it getting gigs, or is it just getting your name out there more, or do you have challenges that you kind of look at and go, I got to kind of get to that next level, or want to get to that next phase?
I guess I get asked this question a lot. Like if I was to ask if a young artist was wanting information on how you make this work, I would say I have not a hot clue. And
That's honest.
yeah, I've been doing music all my life, and I guess at the end of the day, I really love it. Like it's in my veins, and the rest, I don't really understand how it works.
Yeah.
I know you need some good gigs, and you need some press, and you need to love it. And I love the whole idea of placement in film and TV. I think that is an amazing place to go if you're not out gigging all the time. And I like the odd gig, but
yeah, that was another question I was going to ask, was about the film and TV. You're expanding into that field, which is really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, this, like what's coming next to this more sort of world music with more orchestration, inspirational, very moody, because that's, picked up more by film and TV. There's a certain way in to that realm, which is just making really solid music that, again, it has a lot of emotion in it. And that's the realm of the music supervisors. They own the catalog, like they're looking for the music, and you need to submit in the perfect time, perfect place, do your research, what kind of sound they're looking for. So that's a whole world that takes a lot of work to figure out how that all happens.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole different gamut altogether.
World. Yeah.
Any recording coming up, or do you have any plans for any recording?
Yes, I'm currently still recording 2 more tracks for the album I have coming out in May. It's called Twilight Mist, and it's again an inspirational album with a lot more orchestration, and yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
So when you say full, or like you're going with strings and everything? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's strings, so there's a lot of percussion. The piano is percussive. The vocals are thick. It's even got some like incredible flute work, but I would have to say the the percussion is what is
Oh, wow.
really standing out to
So it
me.
sounds like you're kind of taking this to a whole different. This album's going completely different again.
Well, it's going to be like the I Rise song, so you get an idea. It's got a lot of momentum. It's got the percussion, sort of that organic feel. As much live performance as possible. So it's of that ilk and still inspirational, trying to bring hope in this time because there's just so much, bad stuff happening that
Yeah.
would be nice to have a voice of hope
True.
out there.
Yeah. So what's the next plan? Have you got other than recording? Have you got more gigs coming down the road that anybody can keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I'm on my website. I'm just doing a tiny living room. I call it the tiny living room series, where people come in and listen, and other musicians come and can play with me, and gigging in the area.
Yeah.
And back into Toronto, and just seeing how these songs land. And that's a lot of it, right? To see what's working and what's not,
Yeah.
and then to start adding in these new songs. Yeah.
Well, you certainly got the beautiful space to have people over and jam
yeah.
it out. What's the best way to get a hold of you if people wanted to book you?
Yeah, just Heather at heatherhill.ca is great, and my website is heatherhill.ca as well.
Okay. And of course, through Eric as well, they can
Yep.
reach you. Yeah.
Eric is on press. Yep.
Yeah,
Eric
yeah.
Elper. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a sheer
you so
pleasure,
much.
and we absolutely love your surroundings here. If you ever want us to invite us back, we'd be more than
I'd
glad
love
to
that.
be here.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you very much,
All
Heather.
right, take care.
Take care.
I think of those times in my life when all I see are clouds and gray. And I hope there is more for me, a horizon away. And I have the courage that I need when life falls hard like gravity. And I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. It rains. I rise. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise even when it rains. I rise. I look all around me and know that I need you to stay. And I choose